Hey guys, I'm Kelsey J, and today I'm going to walk you through my entire editing process for editing a self-portrait in Adobe Photoshop. Let's get into it. We're going to be editing this image I took from a shoot in Nevada earlier this year. We'll pull it on up. So first step, we are going to bring the image into Camera Raw Filter. This is where I'm going to do all of my basic color grading to the image. Since this image is a little bit washed out because it was taken at midday, I'm going to be adding a lot more contrast and blacks and upping the saturation in some of the colors just to balance the image out further. I'm also going to be going into the color calibration tool and just going negative on this blue primary hue. I just prefer to have my blues a little more teal and my oranges a little more obvious versus yellows, so I love doing that. And then I'm gonna go into my color mixer. I'm still gonna change the blues to be even a little more teal on this one. I like my oranges to be a deep, almost red orange. I'm gonna up the saturation a bit on some of this as well still, especially because this is such a colorful image with those columns. I like to do a slight S tone curve just to give it a bit of a fade in my shadows. So we're gonna do that. And then I like adding just a little bit of grain. It just feels a little more film-like. So that looks good for Camera Raw. So already you can tell there is such a huge difference just from the basic color grade in Camera Raw. Normally with an image, I don't like cropping it right away because I want as much information and composition as possible to work with, so I can crop in different formats for social media. But because this image is kind of imbalanced, it has a lot of blank sky that doesn't have anything going on, I'm gonna go ahead and crop this to 4:5, which is the best formatting for a lot of social media posts. And another way I would do this if it was imbalanced, if I wanted to actually like expand the image, you can now use Generative Expand to do that. But this image, we don't really need that. We just need it to feel more balanced in the sky to match the amount of ground and sky there is in the image. So I still think the sky is looking a little bit dark because it was taken at midday. Those blues still, I think, are taking away from the image itself. So I'm gonna go into Select. We're gonna go to Sky Select. It's already doing such a good job of automatically selecting the sky, and I don't have to do it manually anymore, which is great. It saves me so much time. So now that we have this, we're going to go into adjustments. I'm going to go to, let's do exposure to start. And that way I can just adjust it a little bit so that it doesn't feel so dark against an image that is so bright and colorful. And then I'm gonna go into hue and saturation, and I'm going to turn the blues even just a little bit more teal. That way it kind of matches the color of my dress. I think it looks better that way. And then the lightness, I'm gonna change the sky just slightly lighter so it doesn't look so dark. Clearly you can tell it was very crowded the day I went and took this photo. It was midday, we had some tourists out there. So now I'm going to be using Generative Fill to take these people out so quickly. This is so useful. We are just going to select all the tourists around me. We're going to hit Generative Fill in the new contextual taskbar. I'm just gonna say, remove people, generate, and we'll see how it does. Okay, and it pretty much just took everything out for me really well. It's giving me a couple options. I'm gonna go through them to see which one I like. We're gonna go with 3, so we're gonna leave that on our image. Then for my final retouching, I still like going in a little more manually with the spot heal tool and the clone stamp tool. That way I can make sure that things look really perfect, especially around the lines. Like on here, it's gonna be around my legs and making sure those lines still look really clean and don't get messed with too much. The last step of my retouching, I'm gonna go in with the spot heal tool and kind of remove a few of the wrinkles still in my dress and a little bit of the flyaway hairs. If there was a ton of flyaway hairs, I would probably still use Generative Fill to clean those up quickly, but we don't have too much of an issue with them with this image, so I'm just gonna quickly do it manually with spot heal. If there's any hairs covering my face, I tried to remove them just because I find it to be a little distracting. So we'll get those gone. And this one is a bit distracting behind my face. Get rid of that one. I don't really try to overdo it because I still want the image to look natural and not overly edited. So I just take out the worst ones. That looks pretty good. And then the dress, we'll just take out the major wrinkles. Clearly this had been packed in a suitcase all day. Whoopsies. But again, the larger lines, I'm gonna leave them in because I still want it to look realistic. And I'd say that's pretty good for that. Okay, cool. Then I go in and use the new adjustment brush tool to select my skin and make my skin tone exactly the way I want it. So with this tool, I'm just gonna go in and select my skin. You'll see when you start using this tool, it automatically shows an adjustment, like a pretty strong one. So I won't use this strong of an adjustment. That way you can just see where you're selecting. So I'm just gonna quickly brush over my skin. And now there's a new and improved contextual taskbar, which is this little bar here at the bottom. This way it's easier to make a lot of different targeted adjustments using the adjustment brush tool all in the same place. So it makes it really easy to do this now. We're gonna drop that just a bit. Okay, last step, I'm just gonna slightly up the vibrance so I don't look washed out since it was taken in midday. Looks pretty good for the skin. And that's it for this edit. Here is the before and after of this image so you can compare what we did for this edit. Thanks for watching, and I hope you learned something new from this video. You can find me at Hey Kelsey J on Instagram and YouTube, and of course comment below what you'd like to see next from the Adobe Photoshop YouTube channel.